behalf of the organizers of TPBS 21, we thank for this opportunity for a light banter on a busy day. Myself and Gurunathan will be doing the devil's advocate. We have just taken two topics which will be useful.
Hello.
Sir, I think sir's internet connection is unstable. Sir.
You are not audible, Madhu.
Sir's internet connection will be unstable. Sir.
For COP protocol. And Dr. Sridhar will talk on COP regime or upfront surgery. I request Dr. Gurunathan to introduce Dr. Krishna Kumar.
Yeah, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir has completed his MCH from ICH, and sir is now additional professor of pediatric surgery in JIPMER. And sir, please start your presentation, sir. Krishna Kumar sir.
Yeah, can you please allow me to share my screen?
Yes, yes.
Hope the screen is seen and I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, Krishna Kumar, you are.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for the kind introduction, and I would like to thank Dr. Madhu and the TPBS Scientific Committee for this wonderful opportunity. So, this picture here shows the various forms of debate here. Hope the screen is clear. I'm not hiding anything on the screen because there is a picture which is coming across. Okay.
How visible, sir? You are visible.
Oh, okay. So there are various forms of debate, both famous as well as infamous, as shown in the picture here. So we would like to take only the spirit of this to bring out the best in this session. So the debate is between, or rather the point and counterpoint is between COP and COG, which is surgery which is immediate upfront surgery or a delayed surgery. That is the principle as far as COP is concerned. Now, things started way back in 1969 when a group of people here founded the NWTS, simultaneously here across the people here who founded the COP. Now, we have come a long way from 1969, and the current survival rates are more than 90%. So, is that sufficient to say, and should we say both are kind of same, COP and NWTS? That's the question. So, I would like to take the point of a skeptic who was initially NWTS follower and later on became a COP follower. So, the example is the UK CCSG group. That is the UK Children's Cancer Study Group, which changed over to COP later on. So I think looking at this a little critically would throw some light on this. Now, the counterpoints which are put against COP are the use of toxic agent in a child with a presumed Wilms tumor as far as COP protocol is concerned. What do we know from the literature is that less than 1% of the tumors are benign, so that argues against the so-called use of toxic chemotherapy. So which means 99% of these are kind of tumors which deserve chemotherapy. So we are not using anything as toxic agents. Now, using chemotherapy was supposed to cause loss of staging information, but again, that works in favor of COP because the COP staging has a well-formed stratification of the risk group and treats them accordingly. So this actually acts as an advantage for the COP group. Now, the next point which is put forward is the tumor histology alteration. But again, we know from the COP this thing that the chemotherapy giving preoperatively downstages, and as a result, utilization of RT and doxorubicin is very much reduced. As a result, that again acts as an advantage. The small thing is that about 12% of the non-Wilms renal tumors are also treated with kind of inappropriate chemotherapy, but then the UK group has adopted doing a biopsy. That's just aside.
Anand.
Now, is this sufficient to say that CEOP is a better this thing? The biggest claim is that the ability to handle the tumor better because of reduction of tumor rupture. The problem with tumor rupture is that it can cause increase in local relapse and again more use of RT and chemotherapy, which is the problem with not giving chemotherapy preoperatively. The rupture rates can be as high as 30%, which was the earlier rates. Even the recent studies have said that the NWTS, the rates of tumor rupture are close to about 12%, and in CEOP it's about 1.5%. So still there is a wide difference. Now, the preoperative chemotherapy causes significant peritumoral fibrosis and formation of a pseudocapsule, which protects against rupture, and that is the evidence to say that the preoperative chemotherapy works and reduces rupture in these tumors. Now, there is a study done by the TMH group wherein they have said that they have had both kinds of approach and analyzed both of them, and said that in the upfront group, a tumor as small as 900 ml ruptured, whereas in the delayed surgery, a tumor which was almost close to about 3000 ml only caused rupture. So that again stands in evidence that CEOP works well. Now, there are several points again to differentiate between CEOP and NWTS, but I would like to just pick 2 points and put it forth. One is that is just a continuation of what I said earlier. 20% of children, there is a significant reduction in the use of toxic agent, like, for example, the doxorubicin, as well as RT. That is again proven by statistics. And one other point is that the children with lung mets in NWTS all are treated with invariably with whole lung RT, whereas in CEOP group, after 10 weeks of chemotherapy, if the mets still persist, only then the RT is employed. So that's again, there is a significant reduction of use of RT in these children. So that again works kind of in favor of CEOP. Now, what is the future? Again, the future is that ability to use minimal access and using nephron sparing surgery. So for doing all this, we need tumors which we can handle better. So preoperative chemotherapy makes these tumors quite small and able to handle much better. So renal preservation, fertility preservation, as little chemo, as gentle RT, all these are points which kind of favor CEOP. So I would like to say that let's look at the evidence in front of us. Let's say that we would like to go for CEOP. So that's my point here. And I would like to leave my opponent to take the counterpoint.
Well presented, Krishna Kumar. You have brought out all the good points of CEOP, saying that there will be reduced tumor spill, reduced vascularity, and there is no need for abdominal RT afterwards, etc. But now I think we would like to hear the real surgeon's point of view. Basically, we are all surgeons. We are accustomed to surgery. So I invite now Dr. Sridhar, who completed his MCH from ICH, and he is now a consultant pediatric surgeon in Child Jesus Hospital, Trichy. He does a lot of tumor work also. Welcome, Dr. Sridhar, and please free to refute your friend and go into the battle.
Actually, Madhu, it is very difficult to refute Krishna Kumar, but I will try my best.
No, you should not accept defeat before starting.
Yeah, good afternoon, and my humble thanks to Dr. Madhu and everybody for giving me this opportunity. I would like to share my personal experience in managing WIMS tumor by NWTS 5 and COG protocol over the past 15 years. Having been trained in NWTS 5 protocol during my MCH training period, so I continue to do the same in my private practice also. So how to, regarding the upfront surgery, usually you have to spend some time in evaluating the opposite kidney. You have to open up the gerontosthesia, see the kidney, palpate for the nodules, because almost 5% of the cases, in particular in the peripheries, we might miss small lesions in the opposite kidney. Second thing is that coming to the affected kidney, the kidney should be mobilized all around before going for a vascular control. Primary vascular control is very, sometimes you might injure the superior mesenteric artery, which comes very close, particularly if you're operating on the left side. Third thing is that tumor adhesions, either to the posterior abdominal wall or to the diaphragm, although it is very common with neuroblastoma, it does occur with Wilms tumor. Suppose if you are mobilizing or finding some part of the kidney is adherent, you try to mobilize the other part of the kidney. If possible, go for the vascular control. After that, you deal with the adherent part. You should never cut through the tumor. Tumor adhesions, if it's adherent to the posterior wall, you try to remove along with the posterior wall musculature or diaphragm or tail of the pancreas, particularly on the left side. You can do limited resections, provided you should not cut through the tumor. You should remove in toto. Same thing applies for your tumor thrombus also. You should not try to separate the tumor first and then the thrombus. If you are trying to separate, remove them separately, you are cutting through the tumor. You should remove the thrombus in toto along with the tumor specimen. So preoperatively, if you feel that infiltration into the surrounding tissue, such as the colon or into the pancreas, is too much, and it is very difficult for you to remove in toto, you can very well go for a pre-op chemotherapy and then go for surgery. Our main ambition in the upfront surgery, you should not create any kind of tumor spillage. Inoperability and non-resectability doesn't hold the same meaning as it used to be a decade ago. Even in my personal experience, I have had 2 recurrences in my private practice. One was in the tumor bed, another was in the lymph node recurrence. The tumor bed recurrence occurred within 3 months. 3 months after the surgery, when the child was on stage 1 favorable histology chemotherapy regimen. The main problem which we face in private practice for upfront surgery is this thing. Once the surgery fails, very difficult to convince the patient to continue the therapy. We tried from my side, from the oncologist side, we spoke to the patient, he didn't listen to it at all. He stopped the therapy. And the other patient was a lymph node recurrence, which happened some 1 year after the surgery. So this patient, we changed the regimen from stage 1 favorable histology to stage 3 favorable histology chemotherapy and radiotherapy. After that, node was resected. So when we are going for upfront surgery, you should be very careful. There should be no tumor spillage. And if you are not comfortable with the extension of the tumor, you can very well go for a chemotherapy. So nodal resections in the upfront surgery should be radical. You should not go for a sampling of the nodes. All should not be done. Should be a complete nodal resections, radical nodal resections. Coming to the COG versus SAOP, the SAOP RTSG trial was conducted in 2001, and the CCLG joined that SAOP protocol in 2001. SAOP, they don't advocate preoperative biopsies for less than 6 months and more than 10 years, except under certain specific circumstances. But CCLG, although they joined that SAOP protocol, they do routine pre-op biopsies for all age group. The SAOP RTSG umbrella protocol was launched in 2016, and CCLG was included in that. CCLG conducted a multi-center trial in the year 2017, which involved various hospitals in UK, Denmark, and Qatar. And the final result was published in 2018, when they said the sensitivity of pre-op biopsies in differentiating Wilms tumor from non-Wilms tumor is very, very low. So there is no use in doing a routine preoperative biopsies for 6 months to 10-year age group. In my own clinic, private practice, I have had 2 children. One was with congenital mesoblastic nephroma. It was 7-month-old, and another child was cystic partial differentiated nephroblastoma. It was 10-month-old. Both went undergone upfront surgery. We didn't give any chemo or radio. They have absolutely fine 7 to 8 year follow-up survival, even free survival rate. So if you have followed that SAOP protocol, they insist on giving a preoperative chemotherapy because upfront surgery is not advocated before 6 months of age group. Same thing, if you go for CCSK and RTK, particularly that rhabdoid tumor of the kidney, the age distribution is almost follows the same as that of CMN and CPDN. It's quite common in infancy. So suppose if a preoperative biopsy or a biopsy is not done, and we are giving a chemotherapy for a localized Wilms tumor, and then we are going for a surgery, again, it's like downstaging an RTK. So the ultimate survival might get affected. And I had seen a child who is 7 to 8 year old with renal cell carcinoma. Suppose renal cell carcinoma won't respond to any chemotherapy. Suppose we had wasted our time in treating it as a Wilms tumor in the preoperative period, and then means it's like delaying the treatment. According to me, treatment of Wilms tumor is one of the success stories of pediatric oncology. No child should be lost who are in the stage 1, 2, and 3. This SIOP protocol, there, although the COG protocol, although we promote upfront surgeries, we are giving too much importance to chemotherapy also. If you are not able to, if preoperatively, if you feel that if you are not able to remove the tumor without any spillage, you go for chemotherapy and then go for surgery. Why not? Why can't that SIOP consider that upfront surgeries for specific indications, especially in the tumors in the infant period and unusual circumstances? Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. But from the audience, a lot of comments have come. It looks like you're also batting for COP. Only in the last few slides you are refuting it. I mean, there are few points against SIOP that if you give chemotherapy, you can't get an adequate histology. Then accurate staging may be lost because of pre-op, and of course, the chemotherapy-induced toxicity is also there. But still, in India, with a very large setup, still upfront surgery is being done in many centers. And that one point which you had put, inoperable and non-resectable, doesn't mean the same. What is inoperable for me may be resectable by another bolder surgeon. So still probably COG regime does have a role. And now, as you already told, as a concluding remark, everything has now sort of come into one, called the umbrella protocol, which is actually done by COP and the Renal Tumor Study Group, which was launched in 2016. And from 2017, the points have come. Between 6 months to 5 years, almost with just radiology, there is no need for a biopsy also. Upfront chemo followed by surgery. Only when you have a less than 6 months, you advocate biopsy and go for a surgery beforehand. So does Krishna Kumar want to refute? It looks like almost Sridhar has also taken a stand similar to you. Any points of refusal from Krishna Kumar? Or we will take senior's opinion of Dr. Sripati, Dr. Ravi Kumar, Pave Madam, etc.
If I just can.
Yes, sir.
The only concern about COP is if after 4 weeks of chemotherapy or 6 weeks of extended chemotherapy, there is absolutely no response of the tumor, then you have to anyway go in for surgery. And this happened to us recently, and it was a blastemal predominant tumor in which we subsequently had to give a sort of a more severe protocol post-surgery. So you actually have lost 4 to 6 weeks during this period of time. That's the only problem with COP. But the answer to it is not the UK SSD type of doing a biopsy and, have a risk of upstaging or whatever it is. Having said that, in most of the tumors, I think a via media solution of a very large tumor, essentially going in for chemotherapy for it to reduce in size before you handle it makes sense. Makes sense, so that you don't run the risk of tumor rupture, which is the worst. But the points that Dr. Sridharan said about, adequate lymph nodal biopsy, whether it is COP or COG, absolute lymph node biopsy and stuff like that. The only thing that I would contest with what Sridharan said is you don't have to look at the opposite kidney if you have a good CT scan.
Good CT.
Yeah.
Can I add a point, Madhu?
Yes, Ramesh.
Yeah. See, I was kind of in the group forming the guidelines for various conditions in pediatric urology as well as pediatric surgery. At that time, when Wilms tumor came up, we had extensive discussion. with people who have written articles on this particular topic, like Sandeep Agarwala, Bhatnagar sir, and then
ICMR guidelines.
ICMR guidelines. Not only that, there are certain guidelines in JIAPS, which is written by the Wilms tumor kind of group, which is in AIIMS. Most of them favor upfront chemotherapy, PSYOP, and then there is a big push for PSYOP. But like how Dr. How like Dr. Sripati sir has said, in India, there is a large group of us who are doing upfront surgery. So when we formulated the IAPS guidelines, we have kept both open, particularly upfront surgery for a smaller tumor and a younger child. But kept the option of PSYOP always open for any other thing, because heroism should not be the aim. Rupture and RT requirement, all those things all should be considered as well. So any big tumors under younger surgeon, probably they should go for PSYOP. But a smaller baby and a smaller tumor, probably COG. That's what we have kind of come up in our IAPS guidelines.
Hello.
Can I come in? Can I come in?
Madhu, can I come in?
Hello.
Madhu, hello.
Yes, Sridhar, go ahead.
Yeah. See, COG, if you keep it as a left wing and SIOP, you keep it as a right wing. The COG, if you see the protocol, WTS protocol, and nowadays the COG protocol, there's upfront surgery, they are against very radical heroic surgeries. They are giving some importance to chemotherapy also these days. But the same thing, and the other way, it's not the other way. That SIOP, they are not giving importance to the upfront surgery. That's what my point. See, they are very strict. Upfront surgery should be done less than 6 months of age group. But
Yes.
lot of children are there in 6 to 12 months of age group where we can prevent a chemotherapy or radiotherapy. So those children, that they should consider. So we are slightly moving towards the midline. Why not the SIOP also can move slightly towards the midline? They give some importance to the upfront surgery. That's what that
They will
was my
not be
point.
hanging on to chemotherapy.
Yeah,
This is exactly scenario what Sripati sir also said.
Yeah.
4 weeks of chemo and still the tumor did not reduce, then we have already lost.
No, particularly rhabdoid tumor and all, no, if you are not able to clinch the diagnosis with a preoperative diagnosis, and you are wasting the time with the stage or the localized Wilms tumor chemotherapy, then again our ultimate result is going to be get affected. No?
Correct. And I saw some quotes in the chat box. Core needle biopsy does not upstage the tumor.
Doesn't upstage.
Core needle doesn't upstage.
Fine needle or true cut biopsy doesn't upstage the tumor, but biopsies doesn't help in differentiating Wilms tumor from a non-Wilms tumor. That's what their CCLG 2018 they have come to a conclusion.
Radiological differentiation. Madhu,
yes, sir.
radiological differentiation of the different types of tumor, will artificial intelligence, as it comes, will it help for us to be more accurate so that these kind of unresponsive to the chemotherapy will not happen?
Will it be more intelligent than you, Abu? I doubt it. Anyway, that's good. Yeah.
Madhu, can I come in?
Yes, sir.
See, ICH is a large center doing more than 25 Wilms tumor per year. Okay.
Correct.
So we do follow only COG protocol, upfront surgery. But COG protocol is very clear cut in having 2 good indications for a upfront chemo. One is a bilateral Wilms tumor, or second, the unilateral Wilms tumor, which has got a vascular invasion, right? Either renal vein, IVC, or hepatic vein invasion. These are the 2 conditions where even COG allows you to do a pre-op chemotherapy followed by surgery. A very large tumor has made out, like say, reaching to the level of iliac fossa, extending across the midline, pushing. That is the individual surgeon's choice. If you feel the handling of the tumor will produce a rupture, then as Sridhar says, we have to give upfront chemo. We did a number of cases during the intense lockdown where the referrals were late, children reached late. So during this period only, say for 30% of the cases, we have to go for upfront chemo, then surgery. Otherwise, the indications are clear. Bilateral limbs, vascular invasion. Resectability, operability, it depends on the surgeon. And today, availability of scans and imaging, these cases are picked up much earlier. So we don't get to see very large tumors. Only during the intense first lockdown, we saw such large tumors, ruptured tumors coming to us.
Two more indications also, sir. One is a horseshoe kidney with Wilms, and other when the thrombus extends above the level of the hepatic veins into the supradiaphragmatic IVC also, then it's better, they say, for chemotherapy. Point well taken, sir. So,
Madhu?
As a crux, yes, sir. Yes, well,
just a minute. See, as RSN says, we are more biased towards upfront surgery because we, as years goes by, we get early referrals also post-COVID. Okay. In those cases with better imaging, CT and MRI, you are able to assess operability much better. And if the surgeon feels, as you said, that to a person it might be inoperable, to another person it might be operable. If it is operable, go ahead. And then the concerns about delay in chemotherapy are not too valid because day one you can start, the next day you can start AMD straight away. It's only VCR you can wait for 3-4 days. You can give AMD 0 dose the next day. So if at all you are too worried about the delay in chemo, I don't think that is, especially if your tumor is irrespective of the size, it all depends on the invasion. So you have a large tumor which is very easily, it comes out like a laddu. So it all depends on the assessment of your imaging, how you think, and clinically, if you feel you can go ahead and remove it without thing. And somebody mentioned if you are senior enough and you have done enough that you can know that it won't damage any other tissues, you can go ahead with upfront surgery. And anyway, we are going to give AMD the next day. That's my view.
One more social point I want to add. See, ICH gets a lot of patients from Andhra, like how, CMC gets patients from Bengal. So in these patients, if we start COP and then send them back, they don't come back. That is a problem, real problem.
Practical problem. Agree. And one more point, apart from the tumor removal, both the umbrella protocol as well as our ICMR guidelines says 7 nodes should be sampled minimum from the tumor bed area. Then only we can really do a proper staging of the nodes. So finally, I take that.
Can I make some comments, sir?
Can I make one comment, Dr. Madhu?
Yes, Bhagdi sir. Please, sir. Welcome, sir.
See, a lot of talk, we've been listening to this and we've been following this. But I would like to have the experience. See, sometimes the chemo makes the child sicker. And you have to operate on a sick child. The child which was a healthy child, you give chemo, the platelets go down, AMD, and then what would have been a very healthy child to operate on, you are operating on a sick child. This is what is your... so that is one point against you.
Generally, they just give 4 weeks or 4 cycles of Vincristine and Actinomycin D. By and large, usually they don't become sick, but it's a valid point. Yes. So still
yes,
upfront surgery.
You see, AMD is a severe myelodepressant in children. That is the biggest issue. You might have a normal value. Post, you lose a little blood and a little difficult surgery. AMD makes makes a child much sicker post-op. So, as I agree with Bhagdi sir on that.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, Krishna Kumar.
Yeah. So actually, there was some discussion on the tumors which are as far the COP is concerned, why we don't take up earlier, for example, but the COP protocol itself says that those who are less than 6 months, the preoperative chemotherapy is not the norm in COP. So that's very clear as far as COP is concerned. So these are the group of children where the preoperative chemotherapy is not advocated. And to go further, the UK CCSG group, which says you can do a preoperative biopsy and confirm what it is and kind of can proceed. So these are kind of safety norms which are there, which you could kind of hold on to say that we are in the right direction. And the other thing, actually, if we look at statistics wise, the tumors which are being seen in our country almost more than 50% of them present in the advanced stage, which means larger tumors, advanced stage. So, which means again, this is again from statistics from the literature again. So, we are looking at tumors which are very large, and when handling, these are likely to have consequences of rupture and upstaging and requirement of more chemo and RT post-op. Now, we are only concerned about the 4 weeks of chemotherapy before, but the consequences of this thing are going to be still worse, and we're going to upstage. That is what is the
And
concern.
you have to add 2 more drugs, adriamycin plus etoposide.
Yes,
Plus
and
abdominal.
yeah, in fact, more this thing is about using doxorubicin, because we know that even if you
Cardiotox.
don't exit the toxicity limit, most of these children, about 4% of them, are supposed to go in for cardiotoxicity and cardiac failure. Again, that is from the statistics. So looking at all these things is what makes us say that COP is kind of a better way to go forward. But again, as of now, like COP and COG, they are not kind of a parallel this thing. They are now kind of converging into something, and the TMH group is trying to formulate a smart regime wherein you can choose which tumors you can go for upfront surgery and which tumors you need to kind of go for COP kind of a thing. So they are kind of saying that a smart approach or whatever, and it's going to be published soon, I think. So that possibly would help us to bring both the regimes into one kind of an umbrella, as Dr. Sridhar was putting forward.
I agree, KK. I'm already getting a call from Pave, madam.
Just to add, Madhu, just a
Yes.
final comment. A final comment.
Yeah.
When we are doing our MCH, there's a NWTS 5 protocol. There's a thing called a surgery only therapy. Less than 550 grams.
I
less
was
than
following
2
that
years,
same batch.
Stage 1. But it COG is actually has it's not following it nowadays. Less than 2 years, it's no longer applicable. Less than 1 year, they're saying. So little bit they're considering more of chemotherapy. Why that SIOP is sticking to that less than 6 months?
6 months.
Less
Exactly.
than 6
They can
months
extend it to 1 year.
yeah, they can go to up to 1 year now. So that's what.
So I think it has to be tailor-made for each case and
Yeah,
each
yeah.
institution. So that will be probably the final point. We have to take the best of both COP and NWTS. Thank you both, Krishna Kumar and Sridhar, and we had excellent interaction on this subject of Wilms tumor, which is a success story in pediatric surgery. So from 90%, with all these inputs, we'll like to increase it to 95%. Thank you.